Good morning, and welcome to your daily Farm and Home Show, brought to you by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And now, here's your host.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Farm and Home Show. We're visiting again with Dr. Nicole Gauthier. She's our Extension Plant Pathologist with the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. Glad to have you back in the studio.
Good morning.
I know yesterday we were talking about different pathogens, especially for the urban landscape. You know, landscaping improves the value of our home 30%, but, you know, sick plants really come up.
Yes, they really do.
Sick plants come into play, you know, just because we have a lot of different stressors here in the environment. And so you're going to talk with us today about stress-induced pathogens.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got a little tongue-tied there. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those stress pathogens.
Okay, so remember yesterday we gave an example of the Rhizosphaera needlecast, and that being a stress pathogen. So that that pathogen, that fungus, it requires a stress plant in order to invade. Okay, so not pathogenic as much as opportunistic. So that's kind of where we come up with the stress pathogen concept. And we talked about Rhizosphaera needlecast. There are a lot of different needlecasts and tip blights, a lot of junipers, even cankering diseases on stem lesions like Botryopsferia canker, those types of things on woody plants. We see it even in fruit, in small fruit like blueberry, raspberry, blackberry, apple. So we see a lot of stress pathogens out there. And one example, you know, if we can talk about small fruit, I know we're supposed to talk about urban landscape.
Sure.
But fruit in the urban landscape, because a lot of us do use fruit in the landscape. Our brambles, our blackberries and raspberries, blackberries in particular, had a really hard time this winter. That cold weather was really stressful on them, killed a lot of canes, or didn't kill them, but damaged them pretty severely. And just as plants were breaking dormancy, we got the warm spell followed by a cold spell. And again, those late freezes are detrimental to a lot of our plants. Even if they're cold hardy, they really can't take that hot, cold in the early spring.
Yes, I know here in Bowling Green we experienced some late freeze, and it was very unusual that we did experience that. I know everybody was ready to get their tomato plants out in the ground.
That's right.
But like you said, that can be very, very hard on some of our plants.
That's right, that's right.
Invite other things to come in as well.
Yeah, so a lot of times, you know, in our zone, and I know I'm really guilty of it, is trying to push my season. So I always want to grow plants that are maybe a zone 6 or a zone, or a 6B or maybe a zone 5, and I'm always pushing the envelope with my, climate zones, my cold hardiness.
Right.
So we have a lot of cold damage that is possible, and especially when we have these winters like this winter that was so cold, and those prolonged cold times really will affect us pretty badly.
So you mentioned winter hardiness. Nicole, what about improper pruning? I know for landscape trees and shrubs, they have to be pruned every so often unless you get hit with a branch if you're trying to mow. You know, mowing season is among us. Is that kind of a stress inducer if it's not done correctly?
Right. So a bad pruning cut will leave that plant so it doesn't callus over. Our plant pathogens can get in. Heat damage, we've already talked about. Hard pans, bedrock, insect damage, herbicide damage. We can go on and on about all the different stress pathogens or the stressful situations. Fertility, compacted soil. Think about children's play areas or the doghouse underneath a tree. All those things really affecting a plant's health and causing stress on that plant, and that's when those stress pathogens come in. So usually one of the first things I do is ask agents to request a soil sample for a valuable tree in particular.
Yes.
That helps.
Well, I know soil tests, like you said, sometimes, you know, if it doesn't drain well, you can look at that. But then, too, the pH, if it's not correct.
Absolutely. Our soil tests tell us a lot of things, and that gives me an idea of how to correct some of these stressful situations so that we can reverse fungal damage from stress pathogens.
Right, right. So there's a lot of human error too with that, not just environmental.
Usually human error.
I like to call it human error anyway. So you might be doing some things that aren't very correct or maybe health prone for those
That's
plants.
what your county agent is for, to help you through that.
Yeah, if you're in Warren County, you can contact this agent right here for horticulture. Nicole, Nicole, I know you're going to be back on the show with us tomorrow,
Yes.
and we're going to talk about different solutions. So, guys, we want to invite you back again for more Farm and Home with Nicole Gauthier to discuss some of those solutions for those landscape trees and shrub diseases. Have a great day.
If you have questions about today's topic, please call the Warren County Extension Office at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.